Here's what's actually happening in your body right now, whether you've thought about it or not. Sweating does not cool you down. Sweating is delivery only. The cooling happens when that sweat evaporates off your skin, and evaporation is what pulls heat out of you. If the sweat stays on your skin instead of evaporating, you gain nothing from it. Your entire cooling system runs on one condition. The air around you has to be dry enough to absorb that moisture. That's it. That's the whole mechanism. This is why humidity matters more than temperature. On a hot, dry day, sweat evaporates fast and you cool efficiently. On a humid day, the air is already full of moisture. It can't absorb more. Your sweat sits there doing nothing while your body keeps producing more of it, burning through your water and salt for zero return. Now here's a number you need to understand your own risk. Your body generates 80 to 100 watts of heat at complete rest. That's not a metaphor. That's the literal output of an old incandescent light bulb running non-stop that your body has to get rid of every second just to stay alive. When you can't shed that heat, your core temperature rises. Your body tolerates almost no margin here. A few degrees of core temperature rise is the line between fine and a medical emergency. The single number that tells you whether your body can actually get rid of that heat is called wet bulb temperature. Learn this term. It matters more than the number on your weather app. Wet bulb temperature measures heat and humidity together. It's the lowest temperature the air could reach through evaporation alone. Scientists measure it by wrapping a wet cloth around the thermometer and letting air move across it. In dry air, water evaporates off that cloth fast, and the reading drops well below the actual temperature. In humid air, almost nothing evaporates, so the reading stays close to the real temperature. This number tells you exactly how much cooling capacity is left in the air around you. In 2010, researchers Sherwood and Huber calculated the absolute ceiling for this number. Your skin sits at roughly 35 degrees Celsius. Your core runs slightly hotter, around 37. For heat to leave your body, there has to be somewhere cooler for it to go. At a wet bulb temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, that gradient disappears. Your skin and the air are the same temperature. There's nowhere for the heat to go, not with rest, not with shade, not with unlimited water. Their conclusion, 6 hours at a 35-degree wet bulb temperature kills a healthy adult doing nothing but sitting still. That 35-degree number became the industry standard. For a decade, it was treated as the wall. Then, scientists tested it directly on real people in lab conditions, and the wall moved. In hot, dry conditions, healthy young adults' bodies stopped compensating between 25 and 28 degrees wet bulb. In humid conditions, the failure point came in around 30 to 31 degrees. Every measured result landed below the theoretical 35-degree limit. In dry heat, sometimes dramatically below it. The original model assumed perfect conditions: full shade, total stillness, unlimited sweat capacity. Real bodies don't hit those conditions. They fail earlier, especially in dry heat, because there's a hard cap on how much sweat a human body can physically produce. Remember this number specifically. 28 degrees wet bulb in dry heat is where real danger starts, not 35. That number is the theoretical worst case. 28 is where real human bodies begin failing. Now here's what you need to know about your fan, because this is where most people get it dangerously wrong. A fan cools you by increasing evaporation. Moving air across your skin speeds up the process. That only works while the air is cooler than your skin. Once air temperature climbs above your skin temperature, roughly the mid-30s Celsius, that relationship reverses. Your fan stops removing heat and starts adding it through direct convection, the same principle that runs a convection oven. Add high humidity on top of that, where evaporation is already close to zero, and your fan is actively making you hotter, not cooler. If you're sweating and the air itself is hotter than your skin, turn the fan off. It is working against you. This already happened and it's documented. On July 31st, 2015, in Bandar Mashar, Iran, the air temperature hit 46 degrees Celsius with a dew point of 32. That combination produced a wet bulb temperature of 34.6, one of the highest ever recorded on Earth, a hair below the theoretical fatal line. The heat index that day reached 74 degrees Celsius, 165 Fahrenheit. People survived because they had reliable electricity and air conditioning and stayed inside. A fan alone would not have saved them. This isn't rare or hypothetical. In the summer of 2003, a heat wave settled over Europe. Older buildings, poor insulation, low rates of home air conditioning. The death toll exceeded 70,000 people. Most were elderly, most were alone in apartments with nothing but a fan pushing already hot air around the room that kept getting hotter. Here's exactly who is at highest risk and why. The elderly regulate temperature less efficiently as their bodies age, and their thirst response weakens, so they underdrink without noticing. Certain common medications, blood pressure drugs, some antidepressants, antihistamines, interfere directly with your body's ability to sweat. Infants have cooling systems that aren't fully developed yet. Outdoor laborers have no option to leave the heat. And the largest group by far, people without access to air conditioning, not because they don't understand the danger, because it isn't accessible to them. That's the wall you need to understand. It isn't 35 degrees wet bulb in a lab. It's the much lower, much more common point where a fan stops being enough. And the one thing that actually works, real cooling, isn't available to the people who need it most. So here's your actual takeaway, not a vague one. Know your wet bulb temperature, not just your air temperature, before you decide a fan is enough. If the air is hotter than your skin, your fan is heating you, not cooling you. If you're elderly, on medication, or without air conditioning during a heat wave, treat 28 degrees wet bulb as your danger line, not 35. Now tell me directly, after learning this, are you going to check the wet bulb temperature next time it's hot, or are you going to keep trusting the number on your weather app? I'll be reading every comment.